Melancholy Guy Talks Recovery, Living with Addiction. This is a companion podcast to my life, The Melancholy Guy, daring to be black, open, and free. The adventures of a divorced, open, polyamorous African American male living in recovery. I am the Melancholy Guy, Calvin, or CPJR if you know me. And today, I definitely believe that change I must or die I will. My blog can be found at melancholyguy.tumblr.com. Okay, so let's get it popping. Today is February 9th, 2020, and I am 22 days since my last use of the drug of my choice, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling emotions, so let me say that. I won't say it's always feeling good, but I'm definitely feeling all right. So today in episode number 41, we're going to do Back to the Beginning part 2. We're talking about my history or journey with using substances, drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be. And last week, I started to talk about how I talked about my first time drinking. I talked about when I started to use marijuana and how often I used it. And I said I used it a lot, meaning that I don't really remember like how often I used marijuana, but I just remember it being a big part of my life. And I want to go back to that point there. I did say, excuse me. I did say that it was a big issue in my life, or I said it wasn't a big issue in my life. But I think I need to go back and clarify that because I wanted to talk about like the studies that are out about teenagers and the use of marijuana. I think that the experts are saying that you probably shouldn't, or teenagers should not use marijuana during their formative years because of because of the damage that it does to your brain. According to the studies that I glanced at, it does something to your cognitive ability, and it drops you a few like 5 IQ points. And there's some noticeable changes in your brain, on the teenage brain, using it. So I think they're recommending, since marijuana is probably going to be legal in my lifetime on the federal level, they're recommending that the use shouldn't be just like alcohol. You have to be 21 and above to buy it and use it legally and healthily. And I was going to come on here and talk about how I definitely know some damage in my head, but that's not what I know. You know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking about the studies that I was reading, and they seem to be pretty conclusive, like CDC, some other government agencies that were definitely saying that from the studies that they've done, they definitely see the damage. And was like, how do they conduct these studies since marijuana is outlawed? It's a Schedule 1 drug, so basically there's no medical purpose for it, and it was outlawed, and they couldn't do studies with it. So how they do the studies? So how did they track? Was it like just asking people did they use it? You couldn't subject people to using something that's illegal. So how could you say, check their dosage, how much they used, and all this kind of stuff, and then have, the blind, where you do studies. So I'm kind of hesitant to believe anything the government puts out, but I can relate my effects and what I think using marijuana on a daily basis, what it did to me, or how it affected me. The way I think that it affected me is that it set up my relationship with substances. I was reading, I'm not officially in a Narcotics Anonymous, but I do like attend online meetings, video online meetings from intherooms.com. So I'm I've been in NA many, many times before. So I am aware of like reading just for the day. I do read like the just for the day. That's in Narcotics Anonymous literature. So I remember reading about how we as addicts kind of know how we're gonna feel because we're gonna work to get the drug of choice or some substance, and we know we're gonna have that feeling, that euphoric feeling, especially if you get your drug of choice or something else. But that's what you're pursuing. You're pursuing that feeling that predictable feeling that you're gonna get once you use your drug of choice. And same for alcoholics once they get their alcohol, which is a drug too, alcohol. But you're basically setting yourself up to know what you're gonna get on a consistent basis. So for me, that seems to mean, or seems to, or how I think it played out in my life is that I didn't I didn't really know how to handle all my emotions on a daily basis because I remember specifically in school, I had the nickname of like Cool Cal because I was always laid back and wouldn't let things bother me because I was basically numb a lot, doing marijuana on a regular basis. Of course, I used it for anxiety, being in situations and places that I probably didn't feel comfortable in. I would just could just smoke and I'd be like, cool, I'd be chilling. So I kind of understand how once that relationship with substances was set up, I would always go back to that no matter what. Because if I wanted to feel a certain way and it was predictable, then I could always use the right substance. And I had no, and also, it also gave me, I'm not going to say anything about the gateway drug, because to me, the gateway drug is the first drug the doctor gave you. You basically knew at that point that using a drug changes your feelings or how you felt. If you were sick, you took an aspirin, so you changed. It changed your mood. So therefore, you knew drugs had a benefit, be they legal or illegal. So to me, that's your gateway drug. There is no such thing as a gateway drug. Now, I do know that illegal drugs that's a difference. So me definitely dabbling in marijuana at an early age, I had no problem trying, anything that was presented to me, and I call myself like, I was like, I'm just a cosmonaut. I basically like to trip, and so that's what it established for me. And through high school, I think my early use of marijuana definitely caused that. Now, do I think it was for my detriment? I don't know, because marijuana to me is not a drug. It's actually a plant that has THC in it. So it grows from the ground. You could smoke it naturally. So I think it does have some purpose medicinally or spiritually or something like that, that I think because of our government and their banning of it, we don't know how it's supposed to be used in our society today. I do think that if you were a regular marijuana user, your perception will change. It will kind of, soften a bit on things and kind of, sharpen on some things. So that's why it's hard for me to say like never ever smoke marijuana. Alcohol, I'm not, I wish I had never drunk alcohol a day in my life. You know what I mean? Like I can't, the benefit, it loosens you up, but it does damage to your body that I can't believe that it's legal. All right. So, I didn't do any housekeeping this week. So, I'm going to come back and pick up from there. About some more thoughts on marijuana. Like I said, my podcast's only going to be 15 minutes during this season or this time. Longer podcasts to come. But I thank you for listening. I thank you for giving me feedback. The feedback that I do get, I appreciate it. If you want to support the podcast, you can do so through Patreon. The links will be in the show notes, or if you find me on Instagram, the links are all listed out in my bio on Instagram. Basically, everything is listed out there through a link tree link. So if you want more information as to where the podcast is hosted, you can go there for detailed information. I'm also on Facebook, The Melancholy Guy, Instagram, The Melancholy Guy, Twitter, The Melancholy Guy. So, like I said, that's going to be it this week. I'm going to pick up some more about that, but then I'm going to move on. We're going to do Back to Beginning Part 3. Basically, right now, I'm just going through my journey that got me into this seat. And I want to go into more next week as to why I'm in this seat right now, why I'm podcasting about this heavy, heavy, heavy subject for me after doing such a fun episode, fun series last time when I was talking about ethical non-monogamy. I definitely enjoyed it talking about that because it was fun and it was informative but it was helpful to me at that time. But I think this is important for me now to talk about because it causes me to think about it, and I need that going over in my head. I need to make sure that I'm getting ready to sit here, that I'm sitting here, and that I'm talking about it, and then my recovery is right there in front of my face, so that I don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? The one thing that I said before, the fear of me is a relapse, because I can't go forward if I keep doing the same old thing. So let me do a moment of silence for the still suffering addict. If you need help, go get it. It's out there. And you never have to use again. Like me, one day at a time. If you need help, ask for it. Go get it. You know what I mean? Because whatever you're doing, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. So always remember to love and protect yourself first. Always remember to love and respect yourself first, and all these things will take care of itself. Peace and namaste.